Welcome to the Tech Voice podcast, and this is your host Baz. Joined by me tonight is Lee and Gareth. Do you just want to say hello, fellas?
Hello.
Hello.
And tonight we're talking about the latest PC news that's been in the news in the last sort of couple of days or so. And this has been recorded on the 2nd of the 2nd, 2021. And do you want to even say any games you're playing at the minute, or something you're looking forward to playing, or new technology or anything you want to talk about just before we get started?
Yeah, games I'm playing at the minute is just Flight Simulator 2020.
Gears 5 and Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking forward to play it as a Scroll 6.
Good luck. That's in the future.
It's more hopeful now with Microsoft one of them.
Really? Well, we'll see about that. They have to get some games out first with their other studios, but that's a different topic. What am I currently playing at the minute? I was playing a wee bit of the Gears 5U last night, Lee, and I was playing Immortals Rising Phoenix a wee bit, and I need to get back into the medium. I played a wee bit of that the other night, so I want to just see. I'm sort of a wee bit unsure. Looks quite good. It's interesting, but we'll see. It's not really an action game. It's more like a narrative game, so we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll go for that there. So, we'll get to the topics, boys. So, the first topic on the list is the Intel Core i9-11900KF hits 98 degrees with the 360mm radiator.
Ah, the oven.
That's quite hot to me. Now, obviously, this is all rumours at the minute, and what we're seeing here in this article that they've announced. But to me, there's usually no smoke without fire, and if you're running a 360mm radiator and you're still running at that degrees, obviously we don't know the full ins and outs yet, but to me that would be quite worrying, would it not?
I know some bits and pieces on their latest release from Intel, and my opinion is Intel is overclocking them things too much.
Mm-hmm.
They're producing too much heat and using too much power.
Mm-hmm.
If you're basically got a standard mid-range setup and you want to upgrade your CPU to, say, i9, you have to say like you're on a 650 watt gold power supply unit. You're going to have issues because you might not be able to run that i9.
So, in other words, what you're saying is when you're building a system with this in mind, you cannot skimp on any parts whatsoever. You have to buy in the best of the best in order to get the most out of it.
You have to make sure your power supply unit has got enough power to run it, along with your other components. Like, people don't realize that USB devices use a lot of power.
And the more like
fans,
and the more fans, and the more everything.
Water pump. People don't realize even LEDs and stuff.
Did it say what watts it was running at, Lee? I'm just trying to look through there.
250.
250. Now that's the TDP, is it not? That's the base.
Oh, I think that's what we're running at.
I'm trying to see here.
What's I think it's ridiculous.
TDP is 125. 200 watts, 250 watts. That's quite high. Like even still, like even the new Ryzens don't even run nowhere near that. Sure, they don't. Even with them, being overclocked and stuff, I don't think they're running anywhere near that.
I'm running the 10 too, and mine's TDP on mine is 65.
But yours will not be running at 65 all the time.
It's probably like 125, dude, but it's not exactly high.
It's not like
my
150.
My old 965 was like 125 or 135 or something. It was ridiculous.
I think Intel just needs to, at this point, just to get to a new nanometer process, just bite the bullet and say, look, if I have to take a year away, sort it out, get the process sorted, new CPUs. That's just ridiculous. Like, as you get new CPUs, they're supposed to be more efficient and more powerful, but not running, maybe, granted they could use a bit more wattage, but not that. Like, that's just madness, I think, to be honest with you. What do you think, Gareth?
I just think it's unusable, really, to be honest.
It's
overboard.
I think what they're done with it is the standard clock speeds on the old i9s was probably 3.3 till like 5 or 4.9. but then people were clocking them to £5.3 and stuff. Instead of Intel letting the people do it who buys the product, no, they're just doing it out in the box. So when you buy it out of it, you get automatically the full power.
Like we're saying the other night, like this is just going to be like the maxed out thing, and this is what you've got, and that's the most potential you have from it. You know, they're just doing that for you instead of you having to manually do it.
Not only you get liquid nitrogen to kill that thing, I don't think it's worth buying.
No, I think Intel needs to sort this out. Now, this is obviously rumors at this stage, but like you know, there's obviously some sort of, you know, maybe this is maybe an early test, maybe things will get better, but the way last, like even the 10900K as well that was sort of running hot as well. So I don't know. I think they just need to cut their losses and get a better process and get it sorted. We need a new design or a like what AMD's doing. You know, they're obviously every time they're going to go to the 5nm process next. So, and they've only what many generations did they have? It's 7nm, only a couple, was it? Or is that their first one?
But I also like to say is this is so early days until I see proper retail models. You can't really say much.
But how much better, even if they fix this, how much better can it really be? You know what I mean? If this is, you know, as a worst case scenario, like even a, you know, somebody with a 240mm radiator is probably not going to be any good anyway with this. You know, they're going to need that.
Sure, that's the same thing that happened in the last gen, the 10th generation of the i9. It said the same thing, had problems with thermals, and time it was launched, it seems to have fixed. So until I see a retail model, I'm not going to say much.
So we just basically have to watch this space just to see what way it goes, see if it gets any better. I can't see it getting much better, to be honest with you. I think this is going to be the ballpark, you know. And I think this could be even like Intel leaking information to people, but not officially, and just preparing people for the worst, you know, in case they don't get any better as well at the same time, because you know companies do leak information, you know, that's how they get the buzz out there for, you know, to get people invested or interested in their products.
Oh, I know.
Don't think there's really much to say. It's just interesting to see what way they're going and what they're doing at the minute, and can they make this better. But
I think Intel just not bother making CPUs at the moment, especially high-end ones, and just worry about trying to get the nanometers down.
I design a new product, and yeah, I'd agree with you. Like, you know, if enough products out, they could nearly do them a year. Like, they don't need to be bringing a product every year at the moment until they get it sorted. You know. Any more comments, or will we go on to the next one?
No, I just think they could innovate, but innovate in a proper way that will benefit the consumer. I just think it's too much.
Like, I'm not even saying they have to get down to like a 7 or 5nm to match AMD, but if they could even get down the process nodes a bit, just to make it, you know, to get that more efficiency, so it's not as power hungry, or do you know what I mean? They need to do something, so they do. Hopefully they do, because obviously competition is key. So if we can get them sorted out, and you know, it's going to be better in the long run for us as consumers. So if AMD's on ball, which they are, and Intel can get back to that point, like, you know, we're going to have better products and better prices. At the moment, like, prices are going up because of this, probably because Intel can't compete with AMD, and then AMD's now prices are going up. Like, from Zen 2 to Zen 3, the prices have increased. I'm not saying drastically, but they have increased. You know, because obviously they know that Intel can't compete with what they're doing, so they can get away with selling that wee bit higher every time. Like, every generation now, like, I'm not sure you fall more from the new Zen, so from Zen to Zen Plus to Zen 2 to Zen 3 now. Like, did every generation, did they... Like,
it was a small price increase the most, but Zen 2 was probably the biggest price increase.
Zen 2 to Zen 3? Or from Zen 1 Plus to Zen 2, are you saying?
Zen 1 Plus to Zen 2, there was a bigger price increase.
But there was a
But Zen 2 was like the third generation, so it was kind of sorted
out. Yeah.
And then Zen 3 did really just push it into gear more. It was just a new improved version.
Yeah. Right, I think we're sort of on unanimous vote with that one. Sort of, I think. But like the problem for me is it's not even like like some people could put in. Let's go back a couple of years ago until like a 9900K. I know that was high end, but you could go lower than a 360mm radiator and still be able to use that. Like, you know what I mean? If you put a 240 or something in this, it's not going to be usable, because if it's hit 98 degrees with 360 radiator, like what hope have you got with anything less? So you're going to have to buy the premium parts. So that's going to make your build even dearer than what it was before, because you could get away with a wee bit less on certain things. Now you have to buy the best and really the best of everything, to be able to use this. If you have this in your new system, the 11900KF,
I would just wait and see until I see a retail model, but so far I'm not impressed by it.
No, I'm not either, to be honest with you. Unless they can fix it, but I can't see it, to be honest with you.
No, probably just I'll be throttling down.
Will we hit the next topic, boys?
Yeah, let's move on.
So, Intel has a DG1 GPU teardown. There's an article, they have sort of detailed information on it. And, well, obviously going by this article, it's saying they failed the benchmarks and why it won't work on most systems. The only thing I can gather, now I don't know, Lee, I might rely on you a wee bit here, you can keep me right as I'm talking. This is more of a laptop GPU, but they're putting it into a desktop. But you just can't put it as... Now, this is just what I've read from the article. You can't put it in any system, only the ones that they have designed it for, because of it's in early stages and whatnot. It's just the way they've made it at the minute. So I don't know if this is more for gamers or this more for like OEM PC builds for workstations and so on, things like that there. And it's not even a high-end CPU or GPU. It's more, I think they said... What did I say to you, Gareth, earlier? Was it based on a similar performance to a 750 Ti from Nvidia?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's only got 8 gig of RAM, as far as I'm aware, and it doesn't use PC. You know that it's only X8 that it gets from the PCIe slot, so it doesn't even do X16. And it's not even like GDDR RAM that's on it. It's LPDDR4, so I'm not sure what way that would affect. Why they've
it will affect some of the speeds.
So that's obviously worse off, and they're not even like a high clip. Well, I suppose it's the RAM speed. They're using RAM speeds in this as well, and it's 128. Is that bus memory as well, or am I on the wrong?
Memory interface.
I think this is just a first go attempt to get something out there, and I don't know. I don't think they're hitting the mark. Maybe they maybe even want it, but suppose you have to sort of get something out there and test it and see where it's going. I don't know. I think it's more laptop style, like OEM computers that you just buy like a pre-build for office.
I'd be honest with you, you'd be better off buying an Nvidia GT710 or something. At least you know what you're buying. It's not just a matter of that. You're talking about software too. Like, what software is like on that? It's going to be compatible with a lot of stuff. Like, at least you buy one of the Nvidia cheap cards around 50 quid, 70 quid. At least you're guaranteed to get GeForce software with it.
Like, some of the features doesn't make sense to me. Like, I'm looking through here and it's going to have DirectX 12. I know, like, a 750 Ti doesn't have that compatible. So, like, for the power of this chip, like, it's not going to be able to run games right with DirectX 12. And it's got HDMI 2.1, which I thought was a bit strange for something of this low power, like, because you're not going to be able to play, like, you need that for games or run like ray tracing and all, and there's not even going to be ray tracing in this. I don't know. And well, obviously other features as well, but I'm just using that as an example. I'm not sure about this card. I don't think it's
for... I think Intel should maybe not made this and just kept it as a prototype
it's not
until they get it properly made.
It's not for gamers. I can rule that out. I know that. I think that's just more work purposes, if anything.
Even for work purposes, 710 GT can do a better job. And it's not exactly a high maintenance card. You're talking about something that's 50 quid mainly in most shops or websites.
They're saying here as well, it should be the DG1's performance should be right in the alley of the Nvidia's GeForce GT 1030. I don't know about that actually.
It can maybe match the 710 or the 700. But
It's probably more realistic matching the 700 or maybe 710. I don't think the 1030 is probably a bit. It's a bit out there, like, I think, to be honest. With the specs that we're going by at the minute, I think the 1030 would be a better option to go for. But I don't know. It's different. Not sure about it. As I think what you were saying there, Barry, earlier, it's like, I guess it's their window into the market. I guess it's starting from somewhere, but I'm not sure if this is the start they really need. If you know what I mean, I think they could probably do.
This is not even really a released product anyway. This is just
yeah. But it's hard to go by just by what we're going by at the minute.
But will they actually release this, or is this just like a first iteration of it to try and just to get something built?
I think so. Yeah.
And then try and maybe get a better version of it out. Try and enhance it, or is it just maybe they start doing wee prototypes now and again to see?
Yeah.
See, it's not just matter of having a graphics card out in the market. You also see software. Do Intel have the software really for it?
No. So you don't even know what the graphics drivers are on.
But what I'm reading on it is supposedly crashing most of the benchmarks or doing an endless, infinite loop.
Nice, so that's for early stages. Like, this is just the build, and that's it. It's not been
should just
tested
kept
and
a prototype.
I don't think
it's. They didn't give it a name. They just call it a prototype and left it at that, and just say this is just what we're looking to do, but we haven't finalized anything yet. But unfortunately, they have made it and actually released it somehow. Someone got a hold of it, which just should never have.
I don't know. I think we'll just have to watch this space as well and see what they come out with. But don't get me wrong. I think this is not great, but it's a stepping stone. But if they could manage to pull off something to get into the same market with gamers or whatever, or for work purposes, to compete with Nvidia and AMD, so that's going to, give more competition. So, but they're a long way off from that yet. Like, that's but going with us here, it's probably years off that you're going to hit any of that. Hit that stride. But then I suppose everybody has to start somewhere. So, do you know what I mean? Do you think would it take Intel to maybe nab somebody from some of the other, like Nvidia or AMD, somebody high up that could maybe bring their knowledge in?
I have two opinions on that. First one, they have their own integrated graphics, so they're bound to have people design those. Then, also, how are they going to nab someone if the person's happy with the job? Unless they offer them ridiculous money.
But that's what I'm saying. If you bring somebody in, offer them money that can, as long as they can turn this around, somebody's got the right knowledge of, making better cards. And they obviously don't need somebody that can just make the better cards, but they probably need two actually. Somebody that can do the software side as well. But obviously, you're going to have to pay them big money to make them jump ships. That's the thing.
Yeah,
But would it take that realistically for them to enhance, or to forward, make it these new cards quicker? At the pace if they keep going the way they're going, and the way they're going with their Intel CPUs as well. Let's face it, something needs to happen. They can't straddle along with this the way they're doing the chips, their CPUs at the minute. Basically, that's what I think. They're going to have to do something if they want to be competitive. Do they want to be competitive in 10 years, or do they sort it out and get competitive in the next year or two? Do you know what I'm saying? I know a year or two.
They already have hiring new staff early. I heard that now. But I think they just need to keep that in the pipeline, but don't release any more products off it until this actually is a finished product.
I think this is just something that's got to hold us. It's not going to be fully, probably. It's not going to be ready for consumers. It's not going to be sold, I don't think. To me, the only thing this, if they fixed it up, that would be more for an OEM PC that's built into it. You know what I mean? It's not. I don't think it's ready for mass market to be sold, as somebody who builds PCs.
I kind of remind me of an ITX card or something for small systems. like small business computers or actually ITX builds.
There was
Not
something.
everyone.
What did I see earlier? Lee, did you read through the full article, or did you sort of? There was something I seen earlier that you can't put this GPU into any system because is it something to do with the firmware or something? Has to be stored on the motherboard, so they have to build it with the motherboard in mind. I think I read that somewhere. What was it? Or am I imagining it? Am I wrong on that, Lee?
Reading through it now.
You just can't take it out of this system and put it anywhere.
Yeah, it has to be so on the motherboard, hence the limited capability, and Intel hasn't confirmed this.
There was something.
But people say it make perfect sense, so you probably have to have a Intel CPU and probably a partner board of Intel. So
They have to design it with that board in mind. You just can't go out and buy a motherboard and this CPU or GPU put it together, And obviously it's using an Intel CPU, so that's what they want to obviously display it with as well.
If it's that the case, it's not going to work too well because not everyone wants that kind of idea.
I know. That defeats the purpose of a custom PC.
Even a graphics card. Like most graphics cards just plug in, download the software from whatever company you bought the card off.
Yep. Same with motherboard. You pick your motherboard as long as it's compatible with your CPU. You just download the software to update it and away you go.
Yep.
Any other thoughts? I think there's not much to say really more on this. I think we're just sort of touching on a few wee thoughts on it. Gareth, what about you? Anything else?
Getting on it.
What was that, Lee?
I think we're just pitting on it.
Nah, I know. I think because we don't know an awful lot about it either, we just sort of, there's always this one person's article, so until Intel come out themselves and maybe officially show something, or maybe fix this and then show it maybe later on or something, but we'll see. Gareth, you have any words of thoughts or anything? If he's there.
Garth, are you live?
Don't know. He's maybe alright. Maybe he's doing something. Well, maybe go on to the next topic, Lee, and if he comes back, we can maybe ask him if any other thoughts. Will that do?
That's okay. Let's move on.
So I'm going to read this one out, Lee, and I'm going to let you fire away first before I say anything on it. AMD stock shortages into the first half of 2021. Take it away.
What do you want? What do you want first, CPUs or GPU?
You talk whatever you want to talk about.
CPUs, most of it have been kind of sorted out in a way where we're from, in the UK. Well, you can buy a 5600 in most shops. You could buy a 5800X in a lot of shops, and the 5950 is still available. But the 5900 is still very hard to get because it's the most favorite because it's value for money per core anyway. Still dear, but it's probably the most value one in the whole lot. So my opinion is they're getting there, but not getting there fast enough.
They're slowly getting there, but it's even slower with the GPUs and I wouldn't say slowly with the consoles. The initial batch of consoles that they had manufactured has sold, but it's now at this stage they had what they're trying to produce after it's just really slowed down as well.
Yeah, on the GPU side of things, it's worse again.
Not even looking at it from an individual products issue, as a whole, AMD and this whole problem.
As a whole,
AMD's making too many products. It's so short as within what would you say a month or a month and a half? They had so many different products range out. And obviously other products planned as well to come out. Obviously they're going to be pushed back because of this.
They released, what was it first? The CPUs, then consoles?
CPUs, GPUs, consoles within a month and a half at the moment. No, maybe not even actually. Was it maybe 5 weeks or something?
In January they released the laptop CPUs.
I'll be honest with you, I haven't looked much into it. I know they'll be good.
Oh yeah, I read that.
But
I know they're a lot amazing
but
for the specs.
I don't think they'll put as many parts into that. I don't think they'll be as high. At the minute, I think it's more demand for the PC side of it and your CPUs and your GPUs that you're buying
I
and
just
the
saying what
consoles.
they have coming out. I'm still waiting on what they've basically announced and release. CPUs are finally getting there. Not laptops. Consoles are, well, the launch stock is all sold, apart from the scalper ones.
Mm-hmm.
If people was stupid enough to buy them.
Yeah.
Anyway, apart from that, it's all trying to meet up demand on them. It's just getting there. It's like anything, I think it's to do with the company who is also manufacturing the parts too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
They can't produce
the
enough. Like what for one company to supply all these different ranges of products, like it's nearly too much. I know they make other products for other. I think they do phones as well and stuff, obviously. Like, but we're obviously more focused on the PC and console side of it. But do you think they're
they've made
spread too
chips for a
thin
lot of
for
different
one
things.
manufacturer?
Yes, the manufacturers also, I heard they're basically are doing things which I'm heard is not that great.
Mm-hmm.
I heard they're basically got some deal going with automotive CPU chips,
Mm-hmm.
trying the same chips for them. I heard they're getting first priority on a lot of their stuff.
Apparently, Apple's getting a big priority as well with the 5 nanometer, so they're starting to ramp up the production
Yeah.
for that already, and they haven't even got 5 nanometer products out really. Now,
I
I'm not sure
also
what the
heard
M1 chip is, but go on ahead.
also based on the prices too, that the company is also not doing discounts anymore on bulk orders,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of
Because
crappy.
they have too much market share. I think now that's where they need somebody else to come in. We'll
I
talk.
think
So
that
there's another topic next that
we talk about that,
mhm.
yeah.
But like even in this article that I've linked to you, Lee, it said on it even the consoles they're going to be stock shortages well until Q2 2021, but it could that and that's not even going to fully sort it out. They reckon it could be into Q3 or Q4, like even by the end of the year, before things are starting to get better. Which is, I think, is madness. That'll be a year later at that stage.
Problem I have is, I'm just going to say this: the shortages have caused a lot of issues. There's also the scalpers and Bitcoin miners on the GPU side now
Mm-hmm.
are causing issues for the 6800s till the 6900s.
Yeah.
The 6900 is more readily available because it's just a dearer card. People don't want to pay big money for them. But the problem I have is the prices that we got from the launch till the prices we get now don't match.
They don't reflect it, like.
Yeah, like early on, I was finally find one in stock, and they were looking £800 for a not bug standard, but for a MSI. Oh, was it again the overclock card, the Gaming X,
Mm-hmm.
and it was £800. That should be about, I reckon, about £700.
At the most,
But
probably.
yeah, it's an AIB card.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, they're going to be a bit higher than what the stock price is, like.
Yeah, the
But.
stock price was £600, so that's why I say £100 dearer.
Mm-hmm.
But not £200 dearer.
No.
Now I priced the XT version, and it was £900.
What should probably about £750, £800 maybe.
Well, the 6800 XT at launch was from AMD. Their own standard stuff
So it's supposed
was
to be an extra £80
£600.
or something, was it?
Yeah, £80. It was £680.
Mm-hmm. Aye.
So
And then it's up
you
for
can
like 8.
see,
And that's not even
I
like
want
that's
one.
some at 800, but most of them are what 900 maybe.
Yeah, I want one, but I'm not willing to pay that.
No, I don't think it's worth it. Like if you're going to spend £900, you should really be getting like you're nearly the 6900 XT. Not that you would be buying that anyway, but like that's borderline. If there was like a 6800 or 6850 XT, that's sort of in that ballpark to me. Like there should be another card on at that range, not the same card for a deer.
Well, at the same time, I looked up the price for the XT versions for the Gaming X MSI card, and it was what I think £900. But the Asus ones now, they were what for the 6800 it was £40 more, so it was £840. And on the XT version, it was £940.
That's shocking, boys. I don't
Then
think
the 6900 For this is for the water cool one. I was what was it again? By 1500.
Aye, for the aye 1600. Aye, yep. I think that's crazy. Or madness. Now I know, Lee, that you're at the minute you're in the ball where you're looking within the next month or two to be buying a GPU, which I think is nearly the worst time to be trying to buy one. You know, if you can get in there and get one that should be the right price, but see, trying to find that, it's like hen's teeth.
I know I'm gonna have to pay about at least £700 for one, but I'm not willing to pay £100. I'm not that mad in the head yet.
Not yet. Well, if you can't get them and the prices go up, like, you'll have to bite the bullet if you really want one.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm looking for it till the figure launch at the 3060 12 gig. If I can get hold of one of them for 450 quid, I'd buy it quicker.
We'll have to wait and see. Watch that space. I think with on a few podcasts we've obviously talked about this subject because between consoles and PCs, but I think it's just getting worse, and like stock seems to be slipping further back, you know, so it does. Every time you hear something,
Prices, dude.
Last year you think, oh, with this might be sorted out by end of Q1. Now they're saying end of Q2, maybe rolling up as quick as late as Q3 or even the end of the year. I've been hearing, you know, rumours depend obviously where you read them from and who you follow. But I don't think things are going to get better this year at all, Lee. I think they're never going to be worse than what last year was. You know, at least at the initial you get the bulk stock at the launch, you know, and then you get wee dribs after it. If they're dribbing and drabbing in all this year, like what's you know, what stock are they really going to be putting out?
Well, when it comes to the consoles, it's mostly scalpers. The problems there. CPUs mostly scalpers there. But when it comes to GPUs, we have scalpers and Bitcoin miners that nabbing them.
Yeah.
Which is double the problems. And then with that, even harder to get than the CPUs. So on top of that, especially from AMD side, it's just near impossible. That's a bigger issue.
Will we roll on the next topic and maybe relate this to the next topic?
Yeah.
So the next one obviously we have is AMD is looking to spread chip production to Samsung. So that's one of the points that I made up before. Like maybe, you know, because TSMC has such a big market share with all these different products and stuff for like AMD and other companies they're rolling out, you know, they've maybe too much. You know, and that's why their prices they're charging more and stuff, which is not going to help us as consumers because we're only going to end up paying for it more. You know, so we are. You know, we try to try and buy these products like where it's a CPU, a GPU, or a console. Obviously, consoles are fixed, which is good that their prices are fixed as long as you don't buy from a scalper. But do you think, Lee? Now I haven't really read the article. I'm relying on maybe you a wee bit here, but do you think it's a wise move for AMD to do this, to get involved in our company, or do you think is Samsung the right person to do it with, or do you think do we need another company there to do it with? You know, another company.
Well, Samsung, and all honestly, had a couple of issues with their own CPUs that are meant for mobile phones. But they do make other products for other companies themselves.
As you've seen, obviously, the Nvidia 30 series is made by Samsung. Or 3000.
Yeah, they have stock issues with that. But then again, AMD basically wants their chip to be made a certain way. Samsung would have to provide that. Samsung can't just say, "Oh, we made it our way." No. That's AMD's way. So that's the thing. Is Samsung is doing that. I don't see an issue as long as they can actually produce a chip.
Based on the AMD spec.
Yeah. As long as it's based on AMD spec and Samsung be able to roll out, at least depends how much machines and so forth. At least fabricate enough to at least get over this hurdle.
See, can I backtrack a wee bit? Obviously, with Nvidia, right? So, I know Nvidia brought out, over the years, brought out a few high-end cards. So I'm going to go back to the 1080 Ti, and obviously that wasn't Samsung, so whoever they were using back then, and you never heard, obviously you heard of them draw more power and stuff, but you never really heard of cards running really hot. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, I am sort of what I've seen. Maybe you've seen other things. Like, I don't know if you'd agree with that or not, or disagree. Then obviously,
I do agree that Nvidia cards already did run hot in some form. It all depends what model you bought on it.
mm-hmm.
It was always the standard cards that had more problems than their.
I'm saying generally, but
Yeah.
no. I'm just sort of speaking from my point of view, and then I'll let you chime in maybe a bit as well. But right, so obviously the 1080 Ti came out, and that was a high-powered card at that stage. That was bar Titan, like that was their main consumer high-end card, right? They brought out the 2080 Ti, which was obviously it was a dear card, supposedly more powerful. It was more powerful, but you're paying obviously the higher price for it. But I never really heard many people saying obviously it was a big power draw as well. But I never heard people saying it was running like really hot. But then when they brought out the 3080, when people were doing the reviews and stuff, like they said that it run really hot. You know what I mean? For that sort of and around the same price range as the 1080 Ti. Obviously, it's not as dear as the 2080 Ti, but that was one of the comments I heard them making, that they do run hotter.
I also heard other comments too that it didn't have enough power to run properly. If you tax the card too much, it would just crash.
So this is bringing me to my point. So AMD's looking at using Samsung. Now, that's what I was sort of a wee bit iffy about when I heard about Samsung making Nvidia's. And this is some of the things, the comments that I heard from. So Nvidia went to Samsung for this new card range. Do you think that's a wise idea for AMD to go that route? Maybe Samsung, maybe that was just a teething but then if it's the way maybe Nvidia's designed the cards, maybe that's the issue.
I think it's more but there was power draw and everything they got there. It's more the design problem. I heard that a lot of AIB companies are actually redesigning the card to be better cooling, redesign heat sinks, also put more. That you redesign 3080 is meant to have 3 8 pins. So it used to be 2 8 pins.
You'd be happy enough if AMD went to Samsung and got them to sort of to help them to get stock out quicker?
Before anything, I hope AMD actually get a test models from Samsung first.
Do you think test them that they need a test model plus the partners need a test model to get the thing to see if it can all work with everybody? Make sure they can get the right cooling and all.
Not really, because the AMD own version of their card was actually pretty good. The cooling and everything on it was designed pretty well. I didn't hear many issues with it. So AMD can test it and it's going to be work.
So AMD might be have it more sussed out, the cooling side of it.
Yeah, their own was a triple fan design. Well, AMD's was technically a triple fan, but it was 2 fans and a fan on the back of it. Which I wasn't sure about.
No, I haven't read the full article, but if Nvidia's obviously went to Samsung and they're maybe AMD looking at them and they can say, oh right, they're doing this, so let's go to Samsung ourselves. Do you think this could start to hurt TSMC if Samsung can do it for cheaper in the long run? I'm not saying obviously they're going to jump ship and move all their stuff away now. They can't because all this deals in places. But do you think in the long run this could hurt TSMC? If AMD and Nvidia and all, if maybe AMD starts moving more of their products across slowly, if they get a better.
I'm a bit dubious on that because they still got contracts with TSMC and Samsung. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
Yep.
If Samsung said to offer them discounts, which your discounts with better, less money, pay so many, depends how much they manufacture, and actually keep till that there, I think.
In the long
AMD, in the long run, Samsung could be in the green. They could be making the money.
Yeah.
AMD probably might look into them for a partner. Or they might just spread.
Go on ahead. Sorry.
They might just spread half of the production to TSMC and Samsung.
Well, that's what they're saying in this article, like 50% of the production or something. But obviously, like, if you think, say, like, so they're contracted in with certain products, probably, so they're tied to that product, right? But say in another year or two when Samsung or AMD is going to bring out their 5 nanometer process. Now I don't know what contracts have in place with TSMC, but if they haven't the full contract finalised and Samsung say, look, we can do that, do you think they could lose them for the next generation of CPUs and GPUs and
Could
so
be.
on?
It's not just that there too. There's one other thing I forgot to mention about the contracts. A lot of these companies have, and plus I know I heard it from Apple themselves. What they do. If they can't manufacture the amount of product they're required,
So
they can get out of the contract.
Mm-hmm.
In actual fact, the company can be sued and lose a whole pile of money.
Mm-hmm. Do you think
I know Apple use that a lot.
Do you think TSMC is just manufacturing enough that keeps the contract in place?
Could be.
You don't know.
I'm not really sure. They don't show you production numbers.
Like, I didn't think about this before. This is just me sort of talking as we're talking about this, and just sort of things I'm sort of thinking to myself, and you know what I mean. I'm spitballing to you to see if you just to see what your thoughts are on it. Obviously, but it could be a good thing in the long run if we have another even 2 companies is still not enough. I think they're probably the amount of products that's out there. Like, to be fair, you could be doing with another company to even take a bit of the slack off as well, and obviously. The more companies you have, then we're going to get better prices because, if there's 3 companies versus 1 that's manufacturing for AMD, you can go to each one and say, look, this company here can do it for this. Can you match it or can you give me a better deal? Make me come to you.
Yeah, Samsung never really have been a bad company to manufacture CPUs anyway. They've always been half decent. They always upgraded their sites and their machines.
Mm-hmm.
It's just in the last 20 years that they have some bad rep with their own CPUs, to be honest with you. Other than that, they've always been half decent. They always made Apple CPUs, and they always seem to be fine.
Well, the only thing with this that they're talking about, I think it's more to do with their GPUs and your part of the APIs and GPUs. So it's more the GPU side of it that they're going to bring across to Samsung at the minute. I think because they're manufacturing their CPUs, that's grand. They don't need that. That's not where their stock issue is. It's the GPUs. It's been really bad stock wise. So I think that's what the focus of this move in production to Samsung is.
Well, I basically just wait and see until I see a test model. That's all I can say now, because I have Samsung phones that have their own chips. I never really have much problems with them.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I know a lot of people who have problems with Samsung phones with their own chips, so I can't really say much.
Not every problem's going to be a CPU problem. It could be other camera issue or it's not going to be...
Oh no, I'm talking about in generally speaking, overheating issues and stuff like that. There has been some issues here and there. I'm talking about specifically my own model of phone I have. But so far I'm lucky enough. My phones never have many issues that way.
Yeah. Not
too
bad.
That's the thing. So at the moment, I'll wait and see until a test model shows up and see what Samsung is capable of.
See if they run at the same power and the same, performance as the
and there's no issues.
Current ones. Yeah. Right. Well, we roll on. I think we've been on here for 43 minutes. We'll keep going. We'll go to another topic, Lee.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So the next topic is, I'm going to let you take the lead in this one as well, because I think this is one that you're very interested in, and I think that's one that you would like maybe to potentially own. So AMD 6700 XT has sort of leaked, and they've given some details on it, and I think in the leak as well, did they mention a 6600 XT potentially as well? What's your thoughts? More for the 6700 XT.
I want to get a 6700 more than 68 because more my price range. But it's also meant to come strapped with 12 gig of RAM, which I'm more than happy with.
Yep.
It was meant to launch around January, or at least announced it in January. It never got announced, and it just been, what was it, before it leaked BIOS off it. And that's about it until this new article came up there on it. I'm quite happy with, but it's probably got hold back due to the fact the other cards are not really available, if even available. So SETI 600 XT, interested in it too. See what it comes out with. You know, it's not a low end card; it's more of a mid low.
So would you say this card's dependent upon price? You know,
If it's price, well, I
thereabouts.
say 350 to 450. It might be interesting. It might actually be worth a buy. But I say more likely probably between 450 to 500.
I sort of up near the range. So what was the R2 650 and 580? So it could be around the 500 mark, Lee? 450, 500, would you say? To be sort of, you know, if it's not much lower performance, it could be around that price range.
Yeah. But you have to remember too, they go by prices of the video cards, like the 3060 Ti's, like
Mm-hmm.
400 till 550, depending.
Like this card that says on here now, I don't know, this is what they're sort of saying, that it is marketed for 1440p gaming, so it's not like a low end card, like, you know, so this is sort of your mid range. To me, that's like your mid range level. You know,
Yeah,
maybe
kind cards I
probably
like
say
buy.
mid range or a wee bit lower mid range, you know, because obviously if you go any higher, you're into your 4K games, which they've got the R2 cards for. So your 6800 could be high 1440p, you know, high mid range at the same time, you know, that gap between 4K and 1440p. You know, do you think then? Obviously, we don't know much about the. Now that this was mentioned, the 6600 XT. Do you think that's more aimed at 1080p gaming?
Ah, yeah, it's always been a 1080p gaming card, but they might actually put more RAM on it. So I think the last one
Do
was
you,
6 gig.
do you think they'll do 12? Now we don't know nothing. This is just me asking you a question. What RAM do you think, will they have it the same as the 6700 XT 12 gig, or do you think would they go either as low as 10 or 8 or?
No,
I don't think
it'd
it'll
be
go any
8
lower
gig.
than 8, but do you think it'll be 8
No, it'd
gig?
be 8 gig, dude.
What makes you think
Because
that?
I'm going by from the last generation, the
Mm-hmm.
5600. I think it was 6 gig, as far as my memory serves me.
I think you're
And
right
maybe.
there. Aye, no, I think you're right there. Mm-hmm.
And the 5700 XT was 8 gig of RAM, and I felt that was completely bad considering my cards. My own card I have at the moment is a RX 480, and it's 8 gig of RAM, so I kind of thought the 5700 deserved more RAM, like 10 gig or something. I was disappointed by that.
Was it the last generation they had the 5500 as
Yep,
well?
the 5500 too.
And what RAM was that, Lee? Do you remember? I can't remember. Was it 4 or 6 or 8 or
4 or 6 gig.
4 or 6 gig? So that's
I'm not
like
sure on the
really,
6 gig one
that's
now,
your
but I know
basic
it was
sort of.
4 gig anyway.
Do you really
It
think they
was.
need that low this time? You know, with the
No, they
price?
shouldn't go that low. I think they should sit with those. I think they should sit with the 6600 till the 6900 range.
Aye, that'll be enough.
The
More or less.
6900, I think, is not even worth mentioning earlier because it's just. I think what I read, it was like 10%, not that much better than the standard 6800 ST.
If they're bringing out a 3060 Lee with 12 gig of RAM, do you not think that? Now that's just me asking you. Do you not think maybe that the 6600 XT should match that if it's within that around that price range? Or do you think this will be 8 gig but lower than the price of the 3060 with 12 gig?
Well, the 6060 it's never matched the 3060 anyway.
And performance?
No, it'd be the 6700. I think the 6700, because you have to remember too, when I was looking at all the benchmarks, the 6800 matches around the 3070. It fits in between that. You know, and the 3060 Ti was very close to the 3070.
Aye, they were running around the same ballpark. There wasn't much difference for the price either.
So you find by that way the 6800 was a £600 card. It's no more, but it was a £600 card. It matches between those two. It's just matched between the 3070 and the 3080, but it was matched more with the 3070. But then XT version of that card, it was matching the 3080 and the 3090 in some of the cases, depends on the revolution or ray tracing.
I think Nvidia's probably got the ray tracing sort of better, but I'm not saying we're in agreement that it's not there yet. Obviously, the cards
It's not
just have
there. Ray tracing
the
altogether is
capability
just
yet.
not there.
Aye.
I think AMD is all playing cash up on that, but their cards are more promising for what the
No,
price.
for non-ray tracing, we're up there with Nvidia.
Um,
Non-ray tracing, their cards are just as better or beating the figure cards.
Mm-hmm.
Could you see
Especially-
yourself like in the future with AMD being the leader for ray tracing over Nvidia, or
No, I can't see it, but it might happen with the next generation or the next 2 generations. But at the moment, I don't see it. But I prefer
Gareth's
not
saying in the
to.
future. Do you think would it take a generation or 2 or 3 for them to be as equal or if not better?
I'm
Don't
going to
forget-
have 2 things to say. I would say maybe, but it also depends on the game developer supporting ray tracing more.
But don't forget, this is Nvidia's second go at it. Now this is AMD's only first go, and I don't think they haven't done too bad a job. And I haven't played it obviously on a PC. Garth, you're the only one that's got a GPU on a PC that's got ray tracing on it. But like when I look at it in a console and I see ray tracing in a game, now granted I haven't that many games, it does look good. You know what I mean, for what they have done. I'm not saying it's perfect by any means, but like obviously things can only get better. So if AMD keep doing what they've been doing, like even on the CPU side, like their leaps forward is amazing. So if they can keep doing that with the GPUs, why not? Why could they not be the better at ray tracing in the future? Obviously it's going to take a bit of time, but I'm not saying they will. They have potential there if they keep doing what they're doing and keep
I'd say
innovating.
at most they'll match it. That's as far as I would go. They would just match it.
But if you look at previous generations in GPUs when AMD was up there, I'm not saying like the problem is it's been a long time since they've been up there. Like they've never been that much difference, each year on year.
I'll be honest with you, the last time I remember AMD matching Nvidia was my old graphics card.
Aye, but when the two companies are on top of their game, they're going to be around the same ballpark. Certain manufacturers might a wee bit more or less. You know what I mean? They've never been that far away.
AMD back then was not about. They didn't match them much in performance, but they always was cheaper. So the performance and value for money was there.
Yeah.
The Nvidia was always dear compared to what the performance give.
Well, you're paying for their performance.
Yeah. But at the moment, I would say they'll probably be matching, or if AMD kept going where they're going at the moment, they could probably beat them. Until I see the next generation, RDNA 3, and see what they come out with, it'd be actually pretty nice.
That's why I think that's their next. They're going to have a good leap between 2 and 3. Like I think next year is going to be there. Well, whenever it's released, apparently. Well, originally it was planned to be released this year, but I think with the way things are going on stock issues, I think it's going to be pushed back to next year.
For what I'm reading the 6700 XT and the 6600 XT might not be released until the summertime.
Well, I've heard that they're going to be released. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. They're going to release in Q2, so that could be anywhere from April to June, which is nearly summer anyway. So you're technically,
because they still got a lot of catch up to do.
Aye. They need to try and get these stock issues sorted out. But it's not looking good the way things are going, to be honest with you.
I actually still think they should do more with the stock issue and start giving the cards away for free.
And like AMD was talking about releasing like AM5 next year, man. And how can they do that? If stock issues are that bad and they reckon it's going to be the end of the year before even things are going to be picked up, how are they going to get another process, another product range from TSMC? So maybe now this is the time that they test Samsung and see what they can do before they,
I see what leap. They can basically pull out too. It's not just, you have to remember too, Barry, it's not just a matter of the product working and being good, it's about how much it can produce in numbers.
Oh no. And it's not happening at the minute with the current arrangement.
No. I'm
But
surprised.
this is the
I
worst
haven't.
it's ever been. Like I've never known.
I mentioned one thing.
Go for it.
I'm surprised I haven't seen any headlines that TSMC had been sued by AMD for not keeping up with the numbers. That'd be
But
bleached
that's
from
the problem. Like
contract.
what I said earlier, they're maybe just trickling enough to keep
Yeah,
without that. You see, that's the thing.
it all
But
depends if it's in contract.
well, we don't know the contracts. You see, what deals they've put in place. Any other comments maybe before we move on to the next one, because we're getting near the hour mark, so here, and we have another few topics to go.
No, I say that's enough for that.
We're sort of maybe just going around in circles there, but because obviously there's not that much information on it. Are you there, Gareth? Are you?
No, yeah.
I might throw this next one to you. I don't know if you've read much about it or not, but Nvidia GeForce Now comes to the Apple's M1 Macs and Chrome browser, so that means you'll be able to use it on a Mac. Through Chrome, you'll be able to use it on a Mac and Windows, and obviously on the app Mac side, there's going to be an app from the Apple Store for GeForce Now with the new M1 processors.
I support that, to be honest. Obviously, this is good news for anybody that has a Mac and stuff and likes to play. Yeah, well, cloud gaming's probably where the Mac would probably shine the most, to be honest, because we all know really the architecture for Mac OS isn't really built really on gaming and stuff. You know, I will admit Windows is definitely the better option to go for. We all know that anyway. Like, but
it is a good.
I don't know. I think
it is a good.
I think in the
PC
future.
Go on ahead. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
No, I just think for the way things are going now in a minute and how far cloud technology has come, I think definitely, cloud gaming, you will start to see it more mainstream really than others, I think.
For me, the majority of people doesn't have high-end Macs or have high-end. Not there's a lot of gaming on high-end or Macs at the minute, like maybe this that they're trying to bring back in, but not everybody has high-end hardware to play all the latest games and things. So if they could sort this out and like this, obviously with DLSS, maybe if they introduce that into that, so people with lower end hardware will play their games like at a higher spec. I'm not saying they're going to play it at the best spec, but at least they'll be able to play more games on their current hardware. My only problem with all this cloud gaming is if you live in America and you're getting gigabyte internet, fine, you can play whatever you want, where you want, when you want, as long as you're within that range. The problem for us boys over here is our internet doesn't support that yet. It's not good enough and nowhere near it yet for it. Which we're
even my internet is be rubbish for it.
I know. And you have better internet than us. Yours now, it's not that your internet, like I have internet. Mine's when it works it's in the realm of yours, but there's certain features or parts like obviously the latency and stuff is the problem I have.
Ping.
But mine's is not stable enough. Mine's can sometimes when it's good it can go higher than what yours is, but it can jump up and down. It's not stable at a steady speed. That's my issue. Whereas yours is more steady. Yours is more of a constant speed. I'm not saying it doesn't go up and down. But
mine is hardline. Yours is wireless. There's
well,
a difference.
But that's what I can get. That's why we can't get proper wired into your house. We don't have cable or anything or fiber. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, go and buy some cable and hook up to the nearest exchange and bring it to your house.
Suck off somebody else's internet.
You're probably better doing that, probably, to be honest, right here.
Actually, the best thing you do is find a BT OpenReach fan and
I've just
torture the guy for information
here. So I have. But yes, I'm all for it. But if the technology's not there, it's not going to hit the mass market, which not everybody has the facility to, go for it. But
it's probably going to only be in the realm of a certain percentage.
Yes, for
now Mac users
things are
really.
Yep.
Yeah, to be honest, like the majority of Mac users don't even play games really on their systems because they know that's not what it's built for.
But this might, if they're in the right place, they might try this if the service is right.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's not really utilizing their own hardware, but I think with it now being Apple's now developing under their own architecture and stuff, it is good to see that connection with Nvidia and stuff, because with the fallout they've had, over the years, it's good to see that they are slowly starting to work together, two companies side by side, really, which I'm happy to see, if anything.
Aye. Yeah.
I have two issues with cloud gaming.
Go for it.
Number one, internet's
Like
our internet is
Yep.
piss poor.
we've got that one. Yep.
Yes, I know. But second one is the servers the games are running on.
Mhm. Well, they have to be up
So
to speed as well. Then obviously, like they have to be.
yeah,
But then how do we know? Like, because we don't have. Well, I couldn't personally test out to see if it's any good or not because I don't have the right internet to make to get the best use of it. I could probably play a game on it, but it's going to be laggy and it's not going to be what you want. Like playing a game from hardware that's installed on it. It's not going to be responsive.
Well, Barry, you pay for it. I test it on my PC.
But the point of this GeForce Now is not you can play it on your PC. Like if you have a laptop or something that's more low powered, and they're even talking about to probably TVs at some point, I would say, or something.
Mobile phones.
Aye, yeah. Why not? Do you know what I mean? That's the perfect on the go device or a tablet. If you're an Android user. That's another issue with Apple. Now, if they bring it to the store on a MacBook, why do they not bring it to the store then onto an iPhone or an iPad? Right or wrong?
Yeah,
I know what you're trying to
because
say.
I just slag off a lot of things.
Like this was supposed to be on iPad and stuff, and then they took it all off. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you're trying to say. I don't know. You never know. It's the start of something.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully. You never know.
Well,
It'd be kind of cool to see, like, to be honest, because the iPad is probably as powerful, if not up there in the same realm as, say, the M1 Max. So there's no reason why they couldn't really. Because the whole joy about the new M1 processors and stuff, what I really like about it is because it's in that same realm as the iPads and the iPhones and stuff. So, like, they're really all together. So you develop in one, it can easily be developed on the other. So I don't know, like it's a possibility. I can't see Apple rolling out, but yeah, you do have that bitterness between the two companies. But it's a step in the right direction. I have to give it to them. So
if they can sort their differences out, do it in one product, then they might bring it to others. Any other points on that? I only threw this one in because I just thought it was interesting. I don't have a lot to say on it myself, but I just thought it was worth noting, if anything.
I don't see anything.
You're a different kettle of fish, Next topic, boys. So, this is another wee throw-in one I just wanted to throw in to you and see your thoughts on. I think we've maybe discussed this briefly, Lee. I'm not sure if I've talked about it with you, Gareth. So, Nvidia has quietly released a surprise new GPU, but it's not what you think. It's not.
Are you talking about the GT 730?
No. No. Is it the 730? No. 710 and 1010. Which are their old cards. They just remake them, obviously, for low end, for people who need a graphics card that's cheap. So it is. Like, and they're really old. It's not as if, like, why could they not even do, like, update these a bit to even at the 20 series or the 30 series or even the 20 series, make them a wee bit more powerful for around the same money. I haven't much to say, but I just thought it was interesting. They're re-releasing these so to speak, but they're not really they're not updating them any. To be honest with you, I don't think they are. They're not for gamers. They're more just to have something for the low end market for people who are just more work purposes or.
They're for basic.
Yes. Yeah, that's what they're for. Like, considering when they're priced at what about the 710s about £45 approximately, give or take. Would this 1010 be about £60-70? Would it be? I haven't got a price here, but I'm guessing within that realm.
Not
60.
everyone want a £400 or £500 graphics card.
Mm-hmm.
Or want button graphics. So
to be fair, you're not going to be playing that many games on this thing. This is not what this is for.
I say I can play some games. I say some,
Basic,
not a lot.
From back in 2000.
Well, I could maybe play Pac-Man or, Snake or chess.
Snake, I like that one actually. But
maybe Solitaire. I could maybe handle 3D Solitaire now.
Do you know what? This wasn't even a serious topic. I just put this in. I just seen this. I had a wee giggle to myself when I seen it. Like, and releasing cards like that is just, to me, it's mad. So it is. It's funny. You know?
I understand why they release cards like that. No, it's just for people who bought.
Just need the basics. You know.
No, bought second-hand Dell or something when they come with crap, and they want to just upgrade it.
Just a wee bit more for even
General use.
Aye. Yeah.
Bit more power.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
you can
can
maybe use a
see-
1080p monitor.
I can see the benefit of Nvidia doing cards like that. Like, obviously, they're not trying to sell all their cards to every gamer on the earth, really. I know that's what they're trying to do, but their cards, they want to have cards that really do a mixture of different operations and tasks.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think, to be honest, like, you're in the same boat. Like, you know, you can go and buy yourself, like, say, a pre-built machine and throw that into it. Like, you know, you'd have a decent enough big computer for, like, whatever task you want to do, like, obviously.
I'm just
I don't know. Like, I think they're trying to cater. I think they're trying to cater really for everybody, and not trying to keep their eggs in one basket.
Yeah. So actually reading there down the article, but it's saying that the 1010 is actually 2 gig of RAM. GDR.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to
But the 730 and 710 had 2 gig of RAM too.
Well, I'm only reading. They haven't mentioned that in the other two, but doesn't here.
Yeah, it has 2 gig of RAM.
Mm-hmm.
The RAM count's not matters, but the power of the card.
But for somebody who just needed like a wee bit of RAM on there for something, like, you know, that's not bad as well. Like, you know,
it's more for people who want office or home entertainment system.
Maybe a wee bit of light graphics work or something like that's what that would be used for. You know, that's
exactly. Yeah. Or like very basic video editing or something. You know, like nothing extreme. Just for like
I know what it's perfect for.
Go for it.
My S-Off SL. Yeah, my S-Off SL.
Excel. I don't think it needs to.
You know, it's very
graphic. To be quite honest with you.
No, I do see it. I do see it now. Integrated graphics, we all know, is not that great. So
could you see it? I don't know. Like, I could see myself using it if I was, say, like the likes of, say, a developer. You know, not needing a lot of VRAM and stuff, but like, say, doing like very light Photoshop or something, you know, on the side. You know, like stuff like that there, you know, like, I don't know, because you don't need the
graphics or, you know.
Exactly, yeah. Like, if I wasn't playing
if you're doing a wee bit of promotion on like social media or something, a wee bit of for your banners and logos.
Just that wee bit.
It's for office, for home office and commercial use.
Exactly, yeah.
That's what that is really, like, you know.
And light entertainment use. As in, you know, home theater or watching TV, all that kind of idea.
Right. I'm going to leave it with you two boys. I think you have nailed that in the head. So I was only a wee bit of a entertainment topic there. So I'm going to go back to Lee for this one, and I'm going to read it out, Lee, and I'm going to let you fire away. Have you read the article? Have you? You don't even need to read the article. I think it's just more. I think, right, I'm just going to read it out and let you fire. So, GeForce RTX 3060 versus the 3090. How Nvidia's cheap and expensive cards compare. Do you think, like, obviously it's saying in this article that the 3060 is what, $329, and the 3090 is $1,500, right? Do you think for that price difference that card is, what is that technically, about 5 times the amount? Do you think, only roughly, like, whether it's 4 or 5 times the amount, do you think the 3090 is 4 to 5 times more powerful than the 3060? And, you know, for the money that you're paying?
No, I think the 3060 is the best bargain card that Nvidia has out. But then again, Nvidia's making you improve 3060 Ti with 12 gig of RAM, supposedly. So it might be the better buy, but at the moment, the 3060 with 12 gig of RAM is probably one of the better, cheaper cards to buy over even the 3070.
But just, this is more about the price to performance for me. Like this whole article.
Price to performance, I would choose 3060 12 gig any day of the week because I don't think the 3090 is worth that kind of money. Especially when I've seen prices for 2,500.
5 times the price, and I guarantee it's not 5 times the performance. Not even nowhere near, I would say.
Sure, it was only 10% better than the 3080. And sure, the 3080 is coming out with a TI version now with 20 gig of RAM. and it's supposedly matching or beating the 3090 now completely.
What's the price? Was the dollar price of the 3080 when it launched? Obviously, it wasn't like £1,000. It was like, was it £700 or £800 or 700?
700.
So that's a better price performance than the 3060 probably. You know,
Yes.
when you look at £1,500 comparing to, you know, for something that's not worth it to me.
But the 3080 unfortunately doesn't sell for that anymore.
Oh, well, that's the thing. Like, good luck getting a 3060 probably for $320 or $329 as well.
I seen the 3060 in UK prices in two different price brackets: £400 or £450.
Well, that's
Believe it
definitely
or
not
not,
the best price. Like,
and the 3060 Ti is selling for £400 till, was it £550? Depends on the ABI.
AIB.
AIB, whatever. OEM.
I know what you mean, Lee. I know what you mean. What do you think, Garth? Price and the range that they've got there. You know, what's your thoughts on it?
I would say it's moderately okay. Probably a bit more on the expensive side.
What, the 3090?
Yeah, I think so anyway. But I don't know. Like, it is dear for what you're getting, but I mean, you have to still consider the technology they're putting into these cards now. You know, it is really extraordinary what they are doing.
But like,
I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it, to be honest.
But if you take a 3080, like what Lee's saying, at £700, and it's this card is only 10% faster, and you're paying £1,500. Granted, you're getting more VRAM and stuff, and 10% more performance, but like, the majority of people's not going to buy that. That's only going to be the extreme people who's really into high-end video editing and for work purposes, you know, maybe doing like 3D graphics and stuff like that. Like, you know, if you're talking like for the average person, or more than the average,
For the average
probably
person,
99% of people, like,
yeah,
like that price doesn't make sense to me. Like, that's just that's too expensive. You know, like, you know.
Go. Well, the 3080 is going to be was £700. I reckon the 3080 Ti is going to be around £1,100 till £1,200 with 20 gig of RAM for the Ti version. So
could be right.
I think that would be a better buy overall when it comes out in release.
Well, say if this £1,500 is 5 times the price, so you're reckoning about the 3080 Ti about 4 times the price of a 3060, roughly.
Yes.
So, but you think that's a better value for your money?
Well, it's a 3080 will last longer in terms of, say, it lasts you about maybe 4 or 5 years. It can last you maybe 6 or 7 years. Depends what you're playing and what you're looking to do with it.
So if I said to you, Lee, I've got a 3080 Ti here sitting, and I asked you for $1,200 for it, would you buy it?
Did you do a paying scheme?
No, if you know, do you think is it worth that? Would you personally buy that? You know, do you think
personally,
if you had
my
the money,
price
would you buy that? Do you think it's worth it?
No.
I
never buy dear cards. I'm stretching myself a little more, trying to buy a £400 or £500 card.
I still don't think like that'd be worth it either. Like, I'm just basing my past and what I've bought, and you know, comparing then to now. I don't think I'd hit $1,000 now. I wouldn't even go that high, and I don't even think I'd go $800 high. You know, if I could get a 3080 for $700, that would probably be my limit now. But my problem with that card is there's only 10 gig of VRAM on it, and I'd be dropping down a gig. I'd want to make it up, not lower. Not even if it was even the same, maybe. But I would rather have 12 or 16.
Sorry, I say that their 3060 with 12 gig of RAM could maybe match your 1080.
Probably. I would say it probably would. Probably would, actually.
For what, £400 card and our money, what prices I seen of it coming out.
And it would give me ray tracing.
Yes, and it's 12 gig of RAM, so it's been more RAM than we currently have.
I would, if I'm quite honest with you, like, I prefer 16 to sort of you know, if I'm going to make the jump.
So would I, but unfortunately, that's hard to get. I know supposedly the 3070 Ti is meant to come with 16 gig of RAM. It's maybe around £700 till £800.
Because of what I've got, I am not buying anything this generation. I'm going to wait to RDNA 3 or 4000 series Nvidia to see what they bring out. But they'll probably be dear as well anyway. And plus, and the current situation we're in, we're paying above what we're supposed to be paying.
Are we paying more money on top of that, or
what?
I'll throw this one in for you, Barry.
Go for it.
Would you see yourself though? Like, I know you have your last card was an Nvidia 10 series, 1080 Ti. Would you see yourself upgrading to RDNA 3, or would you see yourself moving back to Intel with, like, say, the 4 series, the 4000 series?
I could see me for if it was solely gaming.
Like,
I could
to re-emphasize, just to re-emphasize, sorry. With the information we're going at the minute with both of these companies and what they have at the moment, now obviously you would want them to go for the next generation, but with what the companies are doing at the moment and what their goals and ambitions are, is what I'm really asking.
Like, if their current goals are based on the next generation.
Yes.
I would want to go obviously AMD, but because I'm not just gaming, I'm trying, I'm working on video editing and, their design better for it, I would reluctantly have to go for Nvidia. Because I would like to take a chance in AMD and see what their cards are capable of and try them out. But they're just lacking on some of the features that, that Nvidia have for the likes of video editing and content creators. If that makes sense to you. That's why I'm hoping that the next generation, like RDNA 3, I'm not saying if they're the full features yet, but it works better for, if they're getting in that direction, I would maybe take a chance on one.
Yeah.
But then maybe for all, if this is more a casual thing for me, I could get away with an AMD, but if the channel picks up and say, I need it, to have all them features, it'd be better maybe sticking with Nvidia. It depends on how it goes. That's what I'm saying. But look, I could probably get away with AMD at the minute, but I don't want to buy this generation. I could buy a 6800 XT and maybe be fine, but because of what I've got, I think it's pointless for what I'm playing and doing at the minute. I just think I can hold off the next generation, and I can't predict what I'm going to need the next generation. I can only speculate. I can't say for definite that I need to get an AMD or Nvidia card, and based on what they bring out, and depends where I'm at as a gamer / content creator. I can't say for definite. That's why I'm still open in there. I'm not ruling anybody out. The way I'm looking at it now is, like, maybe years ago I would have said, like, I was an Android user and I hated Apple at a point, and I'll admit that. Now I'm an Apple user and I'm not saying I hate Android, but I prefer Apple. Years ago I would probably have been like that. I've been more, it's sort of what I see, or maybe that's just it, and that's, I don't look at other sides of things. Now I'm more open. If I see AMD's picking up, like, obviously I went from an Intel to AMD, so I had an AMD originally, went to Intel because at that stage that's the best they had when I was buying, and I wanted to try, to give both sides a chance, and I've obviously went, now I'm back to AMD because of where they're at in the market and where Intel isn't. But we're at the stage now where Nvidia obviously is the market leaders, but AMD's getting back there, and it's so obviously they're within the realm of each other. If it's just so I'm open to what I'll take either, but I'll try and make my best decision of what they've got when they come out with their products. So I'll just have to wait and see what they bring out, but I'm open to both, and I'll do my research before I buy one, because what I'm like anyway. I'll research it to death before I make a decision.
Yeah.
But I'll buy the best I can for, value. I'm not saying I'm going to go. Probably in the past I went more performance over value. I'll try and a mixture of both. I'm not going to go mad money for something that's hasn't got the performance there. Like, if it's worth the money and it's got the proper performance, I'll buy it. Like, I'll consider it. I'll be more, not maybe the way Lee is, but I'll be more thinking about that, Like Lee really likes value to performance. You know, I'm going more to his direction, but I'm not. Maybe I would still go a wee bit higher than he would go. Obviously, because I would play 1440p, 4K gaming. Well, depending what game I'm playing, obviously. But because the content creation side, I have to go that wee bit higher as well. You know, because for a mixture of the both, because you want your system, like if you're streaming and you're gaming, you know, you need that wee bit more performance to do the both at the same time. You know, that's where I plan to take the channel. So at the minute, it's not really needed, but I need to, you know, I have a lot more to consider than just a gamer. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So because the channel as well, obviously I want to be more open-minded and want to buy the bit. Hold on, I have a problem here, boys. Somebody speak 2 wee seconds just to make sure this is recording you.
Hello.
Aye, it's working. Sorry, I thought there was no audio there. I was like, no. But no, I'll go the direction what I need. I'll try and pick the, you know, as most features I can. Which the manufacturer has that. So I'm open to both, basically. I know it's maybe a bit long-winded explanation there, but I'm open to both. I'll decide. I'll see what I need at that point when I'm ready to buy, and I'll just, you know, I'll have to just bite the bullet and buy what's not what I need. What I need my PC to do. You know, it's not all about me, it's about what I need my PC to do. Does that make sense as well?
Yeah.
You know, so I'm open to both, and competition for me is key. So if the two companies are pushing each other, it's only going to get better for us as consumers. So hopefully the two companies will maybe be up there nearabouts the same. So I would like to have the option to say that, oh, yes, AMD and Nvidia has these both products, so I could go either way, and it gives me the choice then. But at the minute, this generation, it doesn't. It's forced me to go Nvidia, but I would like to try AMD. So I'm hoping next generation that they'll maybe have closing them gaps, and I've got the choice to make. You know, so it's me picking a product rather than the company dictating what I need to buy.
Just by going what's on paper.
Yep.
You'll be able to know, right, both of these cards can do exactly what I want. They can future-proof me, they can do X, Y, and Z.
I can pick, you know, whether it's AMD and, you know, I mean, I'll probably go with Asus's, or Asus, whatever you call them. You know, that's probably my preferred choice. But I'm not open, like, I'm still open to using other cards as well. You know, it's just what I've been used to, and that's what sort of has worked for me in the past. You know, I'd say, I'm not saying for definite I could just turn around and buy an MSI card or something else, you know, an EVGA or something like. Obviously, depends. The EVGA only makes Nvidia, MSI makes both, and so on. There's other cards that only make AMD only. But I'm open-minded. I'll pick what's best for what I needed. You know. What do you think, Natalie? Or do you think I'm maybe been too open-ended? Or
for me, you know what I'm like. It's always
price.
I say value for money and performance.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I always like sitting to mid-high graphics cards, because they offer you the better value for performance than some of the high-end cards.
Mm.
But the problem I have with Nvidia now, all the U cards they're launch on the launch date of the 3060 Ti, the 3070, and the 3080 and the 3090. Maybe not more so the 3090 because it has a lot of VRAM, but it's more the low VRAM on them. I thought Nvidia was up the game this year, but they didn't. Until they launched the TI versions and start giving out 12 gig, 16 gig, and 20 gig. I think it was just a ploy to make more money on outdated VRAM.
Nah, they're just trying to get more models out there to. Like, I think they've done this to push prices up. Like, they've brought out a range and, oh, we've got this VRAM, and then, but we need to try and keep the prices there. You know what I mean? The base prices, and obviously you can never buy them that anyway, we all know that. But then I think they've introduced, like, instead of doing, like, supers, like they done last time, I think that pissed people off, because they weren't out that long either when they done supers. But now they're starting to thinking, oh, can we try, like, add more VRAM to them, and, you know, charge that wee bit higher? So, if you take this a step further, I would hate to think that they're going to bring out the first range, then a range with higher VRAM, and they're going to do supers, and then supers with more VRAM at some point. Like, I think it's getting ridiculous the amount of models they have. Like, You know, Nvidia is capable of doing anything the way it's going, and you know all these rumors and stuff that you know all these cards and variations that they're bringing out. I think it's just mad. Like I think AMD's done a better thing. They've like this is our range, like 3 cards and that's it, and they've given enough VRAM from day dot. You know, obviously granted they're going to have another 2 maybe models coming out, but like they're still, you know, they bracket for a specific purpose. Do you know what I'm saying, Lee? Nvidia is just all over the place with their models and the different VRAMs and so on. Like, you know, if Nvidia brings out, or AMD has brought out 2 more models, like we're speculating, right? What did we say earlier? 6600 XT, 1080p. 6700 XT, 1440p. Then you've got your 6800 non-XT, which we reckon between 1440, high 1440p, low 4K gaming. And then your obviously your 6800 XT is your 4K gaming, and then obviously beyond that, like that's your range for gamers. And then obviously go behind on front of that, you've got, you know, the extremists and content creators and whatever. Like that's your 6900 XT. Do you know what I mean? So they've less models, but to me they're in a category. You know exactly. To me that's what you know what they are. You know. And Nvidia is just all over this because they're throwing out like 3060 8 gigs, 3060 12 gigs, 3060 Ti with only 8 gigs, 3070 is what, only 8 gig, 3080 is 10 gig, which is less than what a 3060 12 gig is. I don't know, man. It's messy. It's really bad, I think. I think they need more of a structure. And, you know, as you go up models, you should get more for your money, not less.
I'm looking at from, like, say, the 1070, the 2070, and now the 3070, all roughly 8 gig.
Right.
I've just thought, well, the U3070 should be at least 12 gig.
Aye. But not even, like, right. There's us 3 that's on the channel, right? I do this channel, you come into my channel, we talk, we discuss, and we debate. We can look at stuff and we can dissect it and we can say, I know it's maybe bad, right? Disregard the fact that it's bad, but we can look at a product and we can say, this is what this card's for, or, you know, we can look through it and see the specs and determine what we need and pick the card that we not want. Now, if you're the average person who, regardless whether they're a gamer or not, but obviously it's going to be mostly gamers that buys these cards, but not everybody can look at a card and say, you know what they're looking at and to, you know, help them pick. Like, you know, if they're looking through all these different models with different VRAMs and stuff, and then they're thinking, they're probably like stressing out and saying, what do I buy? Like, they don't, you know, the most average gamer does not know what they want, you know, by looking at all these different products. You know, it's confusing. You just don't have to look at, you need to look at beyond our point of view. We need to look at it from the point of view of everybody. Like, AMD's just got a range. You look at it, you know, as you go up, they're for different gamers. Nvidia's is just messy and all over the place, and it's, you know, it's for the average person looking at it, like, they're confused. You know, it makes them confused. They don't know what to buy. Would you say I'm right or I'm wrong on that?
Yeah, the fear you don't know what to buy because I don't know what they're doing. They launched the 3060 Ti with 8 gig. Then they launched another 3060 standard one with 12 gig.
That's
good. Yeah, I would definitely say you're right in that regards, to be honest with you, boy. It's really hard to know with just everything that's happening, I think, to be honest.
No, I think it needs to be more easier read, and you know what I mean, as you go up.
Just needs to be, I just really think it needs to be more diverse and transparent, really, is what it comes down to, I think, to be honest.
But how do they make that, when it's all over the place, how do they make that transparent? You know, because it's like, it's up and down. It's not like, you know, as you go up a chart, you know, everything as price goes up, performance goes up. But like, you know, everything should match that. It should be on a line and go up. You know, as you go up that line, you get more. So, you know, if you know, you don't go from a 3060 to a 3060.
It should just have that steady consistency, I think, to be honest. It just should have that. It should just go up gradually, just like not just dramatically, if you know what I mean.
Aye, you know, like you're adding something to it, but are they taking something else away at the same time? You don't know. It's just I don't know. I don't know. I think it's like when we were talking the other night, right? We were talking about Game Pass. Game Pass is a good service, but they've different subscriptions, and they don't make sense to game. You know, for people, the average person looking at that as well. Like you've got these different price points, but they don't include the same things, and they vary. You know, it doesn't. You know, it's not easy understood for people. You know, to which one should you buy? You know, obviously, if you look at the high end one, you know to buy the high end one because that's going to have everything. But you know, the ones in the middle, they don't make sense. It's like this. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, the 3060 makes sense because it's your low end card, and the 3090 makes sense because that's your high end card. But everything in between is all over the place. You know? And it doesn't make it easier for people to decide what they want and what they need from it. You know? Would you agree comparing them two as well?
Yeah, I just don't know. Do that the more with GPUs. It's just complete shitstorm. Every direction from price to availability,
but then
to different models.
Yeah, but this is
everything really is up in the air at the minute. I think that's really what my 410 situation would be. Like everything's just all over the place. But yeah, that's not normal at the minute.
Yeah, because of this situation of all these cards, people have to make a decision based on that. But the problem is they can't make a decision based on that because of the whole. I'm not saying COVID. I mean the whole stock issues because of subject things going on in the world has caused issues, and the lack of stock they can get. So people are buying not even based on what they need. They can't even determine what they need, but now they can't even buy what they need because they can't buy anything. So everybody's just jumping on the bandwagon to buy what they can even just get. You know what I mean? So that's another barrier to it as well. You know. So people's not even buying what they need. They're buying based on what they can get, and it's not even what they need.
Like some of the availability, you know yourself, that some of the availability of these cards, a lot of it was to do with scalpers and Bitcoin miners netting some of the high-end cards. And
well, that's another factor and that's caused all that issue. But what I'm saying is just that if you know, to try and break that down, like people can't understand what they're buying, but now they have to decide. They can't even base it on that. They have to base it on what's available, and then they're buying. They could still buy the right product, but in most cases, they're probably going to buy the wrong product for them, for what they need. They're either going to spend too much or too little because they're not going to get the product that they should buy for their system.
I remember reading the article roughly a week after the 3080 launch.
Mm-hmm.
The 2080 was selling because it was down in money by so much. People was after the 2080 Super and the Ti version of it. And it was down by so much money, and people was waiting for it to go down more. Because they're buying it because it was the last gen high-end card. So people was happy not paying down money, you know, discounted versions of that. The problem is with the whole scalpers and Bitcoin miners, all the old graphics card prices is triple or 4 times the
triple,
price.
But they're probably double anyway. You know, time and a half to double.
Well,
but that's still too much money.
XT, I seen one selling for, what was it again, £600? That's just ridiculous.
Well, brand new, were they not £400 roughly, give or take? So that's double, time and a half the price. Like, it's not double the price, but time and a half the price. But that card technically should only be what, maybe £250, £300 now. So maybe it's double the price, really. You know.
Yeah, at that time before the launch of the new AMD ones, it was selling for what, $3 to $350.
Mm-hmm.
It was going down in price, and people weren't really buying it because they're waiting for the new ones.
Yeah.
Then the
Maybe
2080 Ti, the 2080 Ti now is selling for £1,500 plus brand new ones.
Mm-hmm.
Even on eBay, second-hand ones are selling for £600 or £700.
Mm-hmm.
That's just too much money for a second-hand card.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, we move on to the last topic, boys. We're sort of
Yes.
way over the time. Well, not way over the time, but we're going a bit further than I was planning to. Now, obviously, going by this article, we think it's going to be a 20 or a 3080 Ti, but going by this article, whether it's a 3080 or a 3080 Ti, the new one's going to have 20 gig of RAM, allegedly, which we haven't. There hasn't been an official, has there? I don't think.
Don't think so.
What's your thoughts? Is 20 gig too far, or do you think is it needed
Well,
for the
I'll ask you
performance
this.
card?
I'll ask you this. See, about 4 years ago, say about 4 years ago, would you think 32 gig of RAM was overkill for gaming?
Probably 4 years ago. I know why you're asking this because I put 32 gig on mine.
Well, would
That's
you not think? Would you not think now, just from my own experience, just by learning and stuff? But would you not think? Now, this can still relate back to your original question. But what I'm wanting to know is, do you think 32 gigs now is the new normal? Is the new default for RAM for gaming?
I think like if you're on a budget, minimum you should be putting in as 16 regardless. 8 gig is gone at this stage. When you were putting in 16 gig of RAM for your games, that was what you were putting in. But if you're on a budget, you would do 8. We're now at the stage of 16 and 32 is overtaking
exactly.
The 8.
It's just I don't know. I feel now like you have all these. You think of all these drastic numbers and cards and VRAM and stuff now, and you think like there's no way I'll ever utilize that. But the way things are going at the moment, and the way games are being developed, like they are getting, as year and year goes on, like they are getting really, really demanding.
Like I know, like me and Lee's talked about, like I'm going to use this as an example, but I don't know if you'll agree with it or not. Like even Grand Theft Auto 5, which has been out now for years, but you see, even when I used to play it, like I haven't played it in a while, I'll be honest with you, maybe a year or two since I played it, but like, see if I was like, I have 11 gig of VRAM on my 1080 Ti, right? If I was to max that full game out with every setting on high, regardless of it's 1440p or 4K, but if you were to make all the features, that's built into the settings maxed out, I wouldn't even have enough VRAM to run that game.
No, that is basically what I'm trying to get at.
It's been out for what?
Yeah.
How long's that game been out now? Since before last generation, the year before, what's 2012?
Been out for it's been out on PC probably since about 2015, 2016 or so. It's been out for a good 4 years on PC at least.
For what I got back then, like that card can't even match that game.
Yeah.
So it's not within the realm. Like it's I think probably. No, I'm not saying 20 gigs need it, but I'm saying I think if I was going to go again, I would like to have a 16 or higher. That's what I think.
100%.
16 to 20. Anything above that's probably at this stage overkill. But if you're trying to keep your card for the next 5 or 6 years, you'd probably be needing that 20 or plus to even.
But yet saying that
through to a degree, but I don't even think it will. The way technology's going, I don't think that you can't future proof anymore.
Would you say though 20 gig would be like the new norm in say next 3 to 4 years going forward?
I would say less. I would say in the next year to 2 years probably.
Probably.
The new normal would probably be 8 gig. 8 gig is kind of the normal at the moment, but you still get 6 gig versions. 8 gig at the moment is 4K level.
8 gig.
I think 8 gig of VRAM.
But not everything maxed out, I don't think, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, no, I'm going by.
That depends on the card itself. 8 gig
I'm
RAM,
going by the assumption that everything's maxed out. That you're playing on ultra settings, you're playing on like the best of the best. Like I'm talking about extreme. Maybe I should realize that.
Sorry, on GTA 5, I was able to play GTA 5 in my old system with 1 gig graphics card. Okay, wasn't the best running, but it still worked.
But what I'm saying for what I had, and trying to max out every setting, like if I maxed out every setting, I could not run that game because my 11 gigs was enough VRAM. And if you're running the game at full settings, you can't max out your VRAM. You have to have some left, to be able to run the game. If you have 11 gig and you use 11 gig, you can't run the game. basically.
Well, my experience
So
with GTA 5, I maxed it out completely on 1080p
but
on my
I'm
8 gig. I know
yes,
how
but
I'm
I
about
was
let me
saying
cut.
at 1080. Right, go on ahead.
On my own card as 8 gig, and I still
Mm-hmm.
had 2 gig left over, and I was using mods,
But I wasn't on 1080p.
everything.
I was in 1440p or 4K. I think it was maybe 4K at that stage. I was using.
But
Trying to remember.
GTA is not the best game to try running at speeds
Aye, but
because you know
I'm
yourself it's not
just.
really a 4K game.
But when I went through the settings, it was needing more than 11 gig of VRAM. That's all I'm saying
But
for a
you
game.
know yourself that GTA was kind of sloppy in some respects in their settings.
But I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean. Um, I don't know. I think
At
it
the
needs to be
moment,
higher than 10 gig. To be
I
honest with you.
won't go any lower than 12 gig of RAM at the moment. I would still go for at least 12 gig if I would buy in.
Mm-hmm.
I
But
don't think
you're
8 gig is
now
enough.
the way I'm looking at that as well. You're saying 12 gig, but you're playing 1080p gamingly.
Yes.
But for right, so you're saying at the minute this year, if you were going for a new card for 1080p gaming, you would want 12 gig. What if you were saying 1440p or 4K? What would you say to try and right, go 4K? What would you say you would need for it then? Honestly.
Probably the 16 gig 6800 XT.
Mm-hmm. But if you're going 12 gig for 1080p, would 20 gig not without the realm of possibility of maybe needing?
I'll be honest with you, the more RAM the better.
Hmm?
Especially when you're paying for it.
No,
That's why I was not happy with Nvidia this year
I
because of the low RAM count.
3080 with 10 gig was ridiculous, to be honest with you.
The
That's why I refused to buy
3070
that
with 8
card.
gig was the laugh.
Aye, but I refused. Like, I wouldn't even touch that card. Like, even if I wanted to buy that card, I would not. But because of that, like, for that money, like for an £800 to £900 card, we would have to pay for it. We were not even getting to pay the base price. 10 gig's not enough.
No, 20 gig is, I would say, the last. In
If
theory,
that
it should last 5 to 6 years. In theory, now, but it's probably won't.
if that card had come out around that £800 to £900 with 16 gig, that would have been for me in the realm of possibility of buying. Not saying I was going to, but it would been more of an incentive to buy.
Yeah.
So 20 gig. Now it depends where this 3080 or 3080 Ti has enough power as well. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's going to be much higher than the 3080, the base model at 10 gig. We'll have to wait and see.
Supposedly, it outperforms the 3090.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not hard, to be honest with you. Because in the 3080 standard
So
one,
you're saying outperforms? Is it like obviously the 3090 was 10% higher, more performance than the 3080? 3090 was 10% more performance than 3080. Do you think it's going to be much more then? Do you think it's going to be like 15% higher than the 3080? Or 20? Or just in around the same as the 3090?
it's going to be error in and around the same, or at least 5% faster. You don't know
Mm-hmm.
with Nvidia. It's still haven't been officially launched. That could be just a prototype or just one they're just finish. Until you see this finished article of it, I can't say how much power it will have. Just going by the reports I read, it's supposedly on par or beating the 3090 in most of the situations.
No.
But then again, what if AMD come out in middle of the summer or Q3 or something, or Q4, and launch a, I don't know, a 24 gig version of the 6800 XTX? Yeah, supposedly they're going to make another card with XTX on it.
See, I haven't heard that rumor yet.
I heard that.
We'll leave that one for now, Lee. We'll maybe round up another PC one maybe next week and maybe look into that, so we will, and see, get a bit more information on it.
Remember, I was mentioning early on, what was it, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, that they might go back to ATI names.
Right. Will we go back and finish this topic off? Well, I think we've maybe sort of said everything. Well, maybe we haven't went through dissecting the article, but we're talking focusing more on the VRAM.
No, we did focus on benchmarks. It might be on par with the 3090, which I did say. It might beat it too.
But I think it's one of those. Well, once they've officially released the spec and maybe the price and stuff, then we'll have to maybe revisit this one and talk a bit more about it in depth, maybe at that stage. I think it would depend on price and performance for me, but I personally I don't think I'll be going for if it's like £1,200 or $1,200, around that,
Yeah, I say it'd be around that price myself.
I would rather them bring out like a 3080 with 20 gig or 16 gig, around that £800-900 mark. I think that'd be more appealing to people than 20 gig and not much quicker than a 3090 at £1,200 or £1,300. Do you know what I mean? That's just me.
Oh, yeah.
But, aye. Any other questions from yourself, Gareth, maybe before we wrap this up?
Don't think so. Obviously, I think it'll be nice to see higher VRAM in the 3080 series and stuff, 3090s and stuff, like as you were saying. I think naturally the selling point that really sort of stopped me from getting one at the minute. But as I say, I'm sort of the one that would wait out for the TIs and Supers anyway. So I don't know. It's just a matter of waiting out and seeing what they come out with, really.
See, all this variation and stuff, that's why I'd sort of like to try AMD. But it depends, and obviously, as I said before, what I need. I'll have to dictate more than what I want. But
Hey Barry, when the 20 gig version of our card comes out, you buy me one.
I know, bother. I'll buy in one each, and I'll not buy and sell them.
I don't know, but I think really my closing thoughts really be on it is I think AMD would probably satisfy your needs whenever they do get RDNA free out and stuff. I do think what you're really wanting in a graphics card, I think AMD could deliver.
I would like to
or not
go. Obviously, I had originally years ago. I had an AMD card, and then I went to Nvidia. But I would like to give AMD another go and see what.
Alright, you're lying.
What?
You had 2 AMD cards, and you burned one out by trying to overclock it.
It still worked. It just when it ran too hot, it just didn't run as well. But I had a flog that I'm getting another one. Yes, technically, but and my system was AMD based in that system. That's what I was talking about, Lee. And then I went to Nvidia for my next system. So you're just nitpicking now, so early. Right, boys, I'm gonna wrap it up there. And no other, Gareth. I know you missed a few topics. I'm not sure where you're at or what you're doing, but is there any other topics that you missed? You want to any wee touches on? Last chance to do it now, or?
Yeah, I was sort of letting you tear away really in this one. I don't know. AMD looking to spread the chip production to Samsung, I think it's a good thing. I think definitely that's a very positive accusation, really, if they're making. Yeah, I think I really inputted really what I wanted to input, really, as I say. I think this one's really more dedicated to Unity in particular, really. But no, I think, I don't know, I think we can all agree at the minute. PC parts in general, as scarce as they can get, like...
And we're paying too much money.
And the power that we're getting and the money we're paying, yeah, no, I think they're definitely going in the right direction. Like, I think now PCs are more powerful than ever got now, like, to be honest. And the work that we're doing and stuff, it's, people are requiring that extra power and stuff in order to achieve what they need to, whether it be for gaming or work or content creation and stuff. It's,
there's a diverse range of products for it, but
we're
just paying too much for what's out at the moment because of certain issues or miners and stock issues in the world and stuff,
Yeah.
Right, we'll wrap it up there. Lee, sorry, I'll go back to you. Anything before I finish
just
off?
Generally speaking, I do think PC gaming actually got to a big hit this year and last year, especially with all the issues with CPUs and GPUs, but for beginners who just looking to build their first system, they're not having much luck. A lot of beginners now are actually stopped the idea.
Giving them bad experience with all going on. Well, I agree with you there. Yep.
Especially when you find out the consoles
do you
consoles.
Sorry, I know we're starting to end this, but do you think because of on the PC side of the issues that they're having, I know consoles are having issues, but there's still more coming out. It's easier to get a console. I know it's hard, but still easier than PC parts. But do you think the way things are, say if you were even a person new to it, or in the stage of maybe upgrading your PC, do you think it's pushing people to console gaming to even tide them over until this is sorted so they can get back
Yes.
to it.
Yes.
Well,
100%.
I
Yep.
personally, if I then bought my system last year, and that's the only reason I'm looking at a new car, because I already got a new system. If I was still looking at a new system, I probably might just bite the bullet and buy a Series X, not the X, the Series S. Save the money, 1080p gaming on
Tide you over.
£250.
Mm-hmm.
That'd tide me over, and plus with the money I save on the console, I could buy a lot of games for it.
True. Yeah.
You know, at least then I money save, and what you're talking about, £250, couple of games,
Buy a
or
wee
buy
external hard drive, store some of the older games.
buy the Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Have the Game Pass
Get
up
you
and run.
going.
There you go. All the games I want.
Get a few games in Game Pass. You can play what you want, as long as they're the games you're happy enough on that.
You're talking about less than
wait for
£500.
sales to come on. Buy the odd game, on sale price. You're not paying full price either. You know.
You're talking about less than £500. At the moment, a gaming PC, even the basic gaming PC, is about what? With all the graphics prices, like you're talking about what, £9 to £1,000 now.
Basic. That's not even a high end one. Like,
no, that's basic. That's a
but
1660 or something.
Aye. Well, if you look at the Series S, you can play 1080p games at
That's what I'm
60
saying.
frames. And most PCs, even sub £1,000, might even play 60 frames. They might play 1080p good quality, but not 60 frames.
Because the GPUs are just ridiculous price.
Mm-hmm. Like for you can't beat that, Lee. 250 quid for entry level. Get you into it for what it can produce.
I say me personally, that's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't already have my system.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, I bought my system last year without a graphics card.
Waiting for the new stuff, and then all this happens.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed by it.
No,
I'm still not impressed.
Right, boys, that's a whole new topic. I think we could maybe rattle on for another hour, but I'm going to cut it off. I know you could. But I'm going to cut it off there, and hope you enjoyed this video or the podcast with all the content and the topics we've had. And we'll see you until the next video. See you later. Bye.
Bye now.